You should know that every morning I wake up with something playing in my head. It's kind of like I have a jukebox in there and I never know what's going to drop down. A couple of mornings ago, it was Hernando's Hideaway, go figure, da 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 da. Where did that come from? And the music is so eclectic. Very often it's classical. And I get the I get the bars. I know them intimately, but I don't know where it comes from. I call it unidentified classical. Sometimes I can figure out what country it comes from. And sometimes it's a folk song. I never know what's going to drop into my head. Well, where did all this music come from? There was a time in the 60s and 70s when local nonprofit radio stations had these fabulous shows, world music, and they would play stuff from places I couldn't even imagine being in. I heard Tuvan throat singers. I heard music from Papua New Guinea. And so I love this music that was so exotic that I kept a boombox. Remember those? Many of you may not, loaded with a cassette tape. Remember those? And when something was playing that I liked, I just released the button. And because I'm a kind of a hoarder, you should know that I have perhaps 100 shoe boxes full of cassette tapes, full of eclectic music. That's just so rich. I'll never be able to listen to all of them, but I actually have a Walkman. And sometimes on a hike, I'll slip in a cassette and go back into whatever is going to come up. It could be Keith Jarrett. It could be Yo-Yo Ma. It could be those throat singers. I never know. But in any case, I was musical as a kid. I had very odd tastes, even very young. I remember in my parents' taupe living room, I was dancing around like crazy to Stravinsky's The Firebird Suite. Ah, and when it was over, I told my parents that was the dance of the purser and the purse. I think I was trying to say pursuer and pursued, but I remember that music is inside me and that movement is inside me still. And but I was an upper middle class kid and we were supposed to learn an instrument, and I chose a cello because I kind of liked its curves, and it didn't work very well. I was on my way to a music lesson on my roller skates with my cello tucked beside me like a companion. And as I rolled along, the peg fell out of the bottom of the cello. You know, that was not music to anyone's ears. And I never learned how to play it very well. I sawed my way through Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It was awful. But I have a beautiful black and white photograph. I looked very soulful playing the cello. Nobody can hear it, luckily. And one problem is that I never learned how to read music. But music lived inside me, and I did have an instrument, my body. And so I became a dancer, and I would dance to anything and everything. I took all kinds of classes, including ballet. No, I had been very snotty. I only liked, because I was New York clever. I only liked Baroque above or, contemporary beyond. But in ballet, the romantics started to speak to me. And I was surrounded by beautiful gazelle-like skinny women with long legs, and I had short legs and stiff feet. But when that music filled me, I could leap with Chopin, and it really worked. And then there was jazz. And then there was modern, Martha Graham with those contractions that were agonizing to agonizing, music that felt like my horrible, agonized adolescence. And then there was African dance. I have a kind of a big butt and I could let it hang out and I could stomp away. And so music lived through me via dance, but also I could kind of sing, even though I couldn't read music. And I joined choruses. And secret, you don't have to read music, you just have to have a kind of a quick ear. And you hear that note and you sing it, and it works. I started as a soprano, and because it was easy, you go over the top. And then I got older and it sunk to the herd of altos, and then I became a tenor, very interesting part. And the thing about choral singing is you join your voice with others and it makes one beautiful sound. So there I was, and there I am, singing and dancing, no longer in classes, no longer in choruses. I sing in my head, I dance around the living room. I really love silence. My husband John gave me that gift. He put up with listening to all those music programs he really didn't like. But the music is inside me. Our hearts are always beating. Our breath is always filling us. Music is forever for all of us, I believe. Thank you.